we're going to hit the road, as you said, for a little bit of traffic light. We're going to say a statement, and you're either going to give it the green light and speed on out of there. You're going to say, hold on, slow down there, bucko. Or you're going to say, you know what? Throw on the brakes. All right. So the first statement is Goga Bitadze minutes when Wendell Carter Jr. comes back. He's been playing fantastic, Pich. Are you, like, I don't even know how you want to interpret this, but I guess green light, like you want more Goga minutes? You want to keep those up? You can interpret it how you want. Let me not tell you how to interpret it. You do your thing.
I didn't realize you were writing the book on traffic light on this one. I think for me, I'd like it. You'd like to say green, right? Because you like what you're saying and you're pleased by it. But the fact is, when Wendell's come back, he's gonna get minutes. He's gonna get playing time. He's gonna be in there. Someone's minutes have to take a seat. So I'm just gonna go yellow on this one. It's not the sexy pick, but I think Wendell's going to come back in, take a bunch of his minutes. They might share at first until, because they always like to keep guys on minutes restrictions. So right. I'm sure they won't let Wendell play a whole game, for God's sakes. Oh, no. But so Goga will get some time then. And look, Goga's already proved himself. So if Wendell can't hang at the Goga level, then, hey, the switch gets made. I mean, they don't owe him those starter minutes just because, he's Wendell. I mean, he needs to prove that he can play at that kind of level and produce. I mean, you got Goga, you got Moritz producing, you've got J.I. playing fantastic D. I mean, and look, even his offense has been impressive. So I think there's other options here in the big man shit game that can deliver. So if Wendell's not going to come back at a equal or better than level, then those guys are going to get their minutes back, which is the way it should work. And this is why, like on the last show, I had the hot take about, possibly trading Wendell Carter because he's got a great contract. He still can ball when he's healthy. He's a good player. And I think he'd be attractive to other teams to get that piece we're missing, because we've been missing him for most of this run and things have been going pretty well. So Imagine if you could fill one of those other gaps or holes that we want and get a 3-point shooter in here for him. I mean, it's something they would have to consider if it comes down to trade deadline and we're sitting like third or second. We think we can make a run at the title, right? Mm-hmm. Like you need a 3-point shooter when it comes playoff time, a real sniper. And maybe that's what they do. So that's why I think about that. I love Wendell to come in and prove me wrong though, because I do love Wendell, but Goga's minutes will depend on how well Wendell plays, I think.
Fair points, Pich. I mean, in this stretch where Goga's been playing, he's averaging 8 points a game, nothing crazy, 7.3 boards, about 2 assists, but almost 2 blocks. And that is kind of the aspect of the game that we don't really see from Wendell. He's a terrific defender, but as a rim protector, even though his stats when he's like defending someone close to the rim, those are good, you just don't see him he's not a shot blocker. And it's nice to have a guy back there who's doing some of those things. Again, Goga, he had some amazing games. You look at his plus minus, and it's all plus. He's only had in this stretch 2 games out of 12 where he's been minus at all. So he's making winning plays. I mean, he's out there with the starters. That definitely helps. But he's making winning plays. I think right now, I have to, though, throw on the brakes. Throw on the brakes. As much as it pains me to say when Wendell gets back, there goes Goga's minutes, that's got to be what happens, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, Wendell, while, again, I just said he doesn't really have some of that outwardly showing rim protection, he is a tremendous defender, and I think he fits more into the philosophy of Coach Mosley of having, I mean, he's another 6'10 guy, super athletic, quick feet. You can tell sometimes on these switches and these rotations, Goga's just a little bit slow, and Wendell is just a much faster, quicker type of athlete. Wendell has been shooting also something is that he's shooting threes. He shoots 3 a game and was shooting about 32% before going down. He had games, though, where he was knocking down 40% of his shots, 50% of his three-point shots, things like that. So he at least is stretching the floor, whereas Goga does not bring that at all. I think that's also an important aspect of Wendell. But really where it comes down to is the defense. I think that Wendell just fits more into the defensive identity of this team, and I think that you're absolutely right. Maybe when Wendell comes back, there will be a little bit of a yellow, of a slowdown, and there'll be some minute sharing. But once Wendell is back up to full strength, I expect the rotations to pretty much go back to how they were at the beginning of the year. Wendell in that starting spot, Moritz coming off the bench to back up. Maybe if J.I. wants to get a rest one night, you'll see some Goga here and there. But Goga's just the guy that is designed, he's on this team to do exactly what he's doing right now. If someone goes down, knock on wood, you have an extremely capable backup in Goga Bitadze. Now, I think this is the last year on his contract, so it begs the question, what do you do with Goga next year? Would he agree to be on this team? Because I think he has definitely the talent to start on a not so great team or be a backup on a good team, and he probably isn't going to love his role being the third fiddle on the Orlando Magic. I think he does love this team, but you figure he might want to get some playing time somewhere else. We'll see. I mean, I've loved what we've gotten from Goga. It'll be heartbreaking to see him go.
Yeah, I agree. I think you made some good points there. I think if, like I was saying about Wendell being a trade option, maybe there's a team that needs a big man going into the playoffs and is looking to move for Goga. Or, yeah, I know his contract's up at the end of the season, but you might want him for the end of the year because you just need a big guy.
Yeah.
You're going into the playoffs and you lose your big guy and you need someone to step in because you're going to have to play against Joel Embiid or Jokic or some other big guy that you need him to slap around against. So, I think we're in a good position because of having a deep roster with a bunch of guys who have good contracts, aside from J.I., that are movable and I think benefit our squad.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I have about that, Pich, is aren't we that team? Aren't we that playoff team that needs a backup big because we've got a guy in Wendell Carter Jr. who has a history of getting injured, and our backup is Jonathan Isaac, who has a history of getting injured. So aren't we the team?
Well, right now we are. So
yeah.
Right now we are. You're right. So unless the price seems like something that we can't pass on, then,
right.
Yeah, you just keep him in that way.